Yeah, they got different players now, I think.
It does look that way, doesn't it? As they have Swiftlame and Nox3 replacing Baby B Kid and Matsatoshi. So perhaps I was wrong, and it's this game that they have ringers. That might have been their 5-man before. But anyway, we are loaded into game
Or the
2.
other way around.
Or the other,
Maybe
yeah.
they were out and they, yeah, you know.
I think Swiftlane's actually not, or Swiftlame is actually not part of this team. I believe he's a ringer because I think Art talked about it before, saying that they used Swiftlame in previous games. So I don't
All
know.
right.
Either way, we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't mess up the chemistry that seemed to be working very well for them in Game 1, where they take that solid win. And actually, Stu going to be the drafter for this game, as they seem to have lost their initial game. uh, anyway, Silhouette and Magma's the first two bans from him, and he's going to be countered by Cthulhufant and presumably a Swiftblade from Archie Tiger, as that tends to be the case, but soft pick Gemini here, so yeah, if you know anything about Swiftlane, he played for Last of Us in the Carnage and Caldivar event. He did play for them, I believe, at some point in HoN Tour Season 3, as well as Nullstone, who he's tagged up with. And known Gemini player, but Bubble's going to be the last ban, so I'm assuming first pick Swift.
What? Okay, I'm not sure why you would want to ban a Bubbles unless you got some very specific draft in mind, like, for example, you got a very, very good Prisoner player, but that seems really weird to me.
It's going to be the first
Okay,
pick
they're gonna...
Parasite.
Wow.
There's a
Swiftblade?
Swiftblade, yeah, like, I don't get that.
Why
Tempest
are
and
they
Ophelia on
even
their own board.
thinking?
Yeah, there's the Swiftblade. So,
Kraken.
okay, they do get Kraken, which is good.
Yeah, they got two very, very good heroes at least, but still feel like the Swiftblade is a little bit better.
And they still have
I mean,
Ophelia
I feel like
and
you need to,
Jungle and
yeah, I
Tempest.
feel like you need to counter him somehow, at least the Swiftblade.
Right. So, I don't know. The Dragon Master was banned out last time, so I actually don't know much about Hot Flood Factory, despite the fact that Art is always casting. So maybe they have a good Drunken player, or maybe they did and they lost him. I don't know. Strange.
Yeah. Right, what's left on the board? There is...
Empath?
They could go for the Empath. Actually, I think that would be fine. He's not that strong versus the Parasite, nor the Kraken. They're gonna go with the
Yeah,
Glacius. Actually, I think that's a better one.
Sorry, I was looking for Swiftblade counters.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, yeah, it's gonna be the Glacius, so we got some TMM pub stuff going on, Swiftblade Glacius combo, and see if they actually put those two together. But I'm expecting a third pick Tempest from the Hellborn team, and Legion soft picking a Clanks here too, and Notable the Frog No Hippo played a ton of Clanks before he goes banned. Obviously, Stu was on that team, so we'll see if they feel like
He's pretty weak
him up.
versus Swiftblade, though, at least in the early game, but maybe with a Nullstone he can do better.
Yeah. And we'll be the Empath, so I'm going to be going for some sort of hard carry strat probably with the Empath, and not...
Here's the deal, though. Yeah, the Hellborn team is just gonna ban out everything that's good with the Empath, and at the same time they counters the Swiftblade. So picking the Empath, I mean, even if it's good versus Swiftblade, I feel like you kind of need to do it as a second pick, if that's the case. And they are gonna go for the Tempest. What?
Not a huge surprise.
I didn't think so, since they already got the Kraken and Parasite to counter him. Felt like they were going for a little bit more of an offensive kind of playstyle with the Swiftblade and the Glacius, but they're gonna go defensive again, it seems.
Yeah. Maybe just feeling like... I mean, Archie Tiger played the Tempest last game, and he's a notable Ophelia player. When he was in Twisted Fusion, they actually had a jungler, but when they picked Ophelia, he would play it, so... It is kind of surprising. It feels like Oph might have fit this team even better than Tempest does.
Yeah, I agree on that.
And it's not like they can't play it, because Archie's there, so... It does seem strange that they go for the Tempest over the Ophelia, but I think either of those is fine. And... yeah. Stu actually banning out TDL, which is one thing that I would have expected from the Hellborn team.
What? Why did they ban Dark Lady when they
yeah.
can pick him up?
And I would really hope that they wouldn't go TDL into Swiftblade. That seems excessively greedy. I mean, you can suicide the Swiftblade, but like...
And Puppet Master, like, what?
I don't know what's happening here on the Legion side. Puppet Master would have been a great pick for the Hellborn team. I'll give him that, but
Uh, you could have. It's alright. I feel like they should get something a little bit more damages or damage oriented, but I mean, especially with the Tempest in the forest, I feel like they need something in the early game.
yeah.
Something like a Torture or no, it's I don't know, like a Defiler or something like that would have been pretty big. Vance, Magebane.
That's fine.
I could see Magebane work, but I mean, those kind of heroes at the same time, I mean, Dark Lady and Magebane are very, very dependent on AoE lockdown spells, and Parasite and Empath doesn't really provide that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Kraken would have been a relatively small area, so, in a significantly large team fight, obviously. Unless you get really, really lucky, you're probably not catching more than at max 2 people in a Kraken hole.
We're thinking quite some time for this third ban at least. I would say Revenant, for example, maybe they should ban out. They're gonna go for the Oogie. They're banning all the hard carries. I really don't think they're gonna go for another hard carry when they already got Swiftblade on the team.
Yeah. They might be trying to ban out Marcus Moy, but I don't know why. And because they already have Swiftblade, which he can play. And I guess they took Silhouette out early too, but this makes not a lot of sense. Gemini is banned there, as Swiftblade, of course, likes that hero, so not a huge surprise. It's going to be the Doctor pick, which I'm okay with, actually. That's a solid choice.
I think that's really good. Not necessarily the best combined with the Empath, but
right.
Still like a valid hero versus all of the Hellborns so far.
And this is a fairly mobile Legion team now, as Kraken likely going to look for a portal key as well as the charge Parasite, getting it real fast when inside of minions, and of course Dr. Pulsar with his ultimate. Compare that to Glacius, who's real slow. Tempest is pretty slow himself, even with the portal key. It's a good movement speed item, but it's not the greatest, and yeah, they're continuing that theme, so heavy mobility on this Legion side, and heavy lockdown on the Hellborn team, so we'll see who wins that battle.
Yeah, now the Madman, when Prisoner is already picked off, revealing that Invis, he does well versus the Swiftblade, but Glacius is the ultimate support to box out the Madman, so don't think they should have gone for that. I think they should have gone for something that's not as farm dependent. I mean, Parasite is going to be busy in the forest, obviously, because he wants, I mean, the latest meta is that he's actually farming quite a lot on a Parasite, trying to get both Demonic Breastplate and Puzzle Box and all that kind of stuff. And then we got the Kraken, which is dependent on the pull key, and Dr. Pulsar obviously needs quite a lot as well. So Madman, would have wanted to swap him out versus something with a lot more early damage. Because right now they're doing the mistake that Legion did last game, or Coollo did last game, that they have absolutely nothing before level 6.
And I know maybe their thought process is Prisoner's got Shackle, and he can only shackle one person, either Doctor or Madman. The other one's going to run around in the fight and be absolutely crazy. But I think Hellborn's like, okay, now we have 2 targets to shackle. I don't think that really works. I don't know. That's a little bit iffy. But anyway, they will last pick that Revenant, so solid to give them a significant amount of damage. Actually, Catline Lane is going to be the one playing the Swiftblade, so it's going to be a Suicide Swiftblade and a short lane Revenant. Presumably Glacius and Prisoner in the middle lane, going up against Kraken with a Suicide Madman and a short lane Repulsor Empath.
I think this is looking pretty good for the Hellborn team so far. It's gonna come down to how fast Tempest is actually able to put pressure on the top lane. But I think they should be able to pick off Madman relatively easy, because I expect him to be on like 50% HP during the entire laning phase, more or less, because Revenant is just one of those heroes.
And really,
that is... Yeah, go ahead.
No, saying Madman, a hero that does not have a substantial health pool. So even with a significant regen, he's got 6 trees, a pot, and a health potion. He is perhaps, I mean, he could die relatively quickly to Revenant Burst, which is actually fairly substantial. If Revenant manages to get the Invis off and his various spells stacked up and goes on to the Madman before he can do too much. So, I mean, this might have even been a situation where Kraken is a better suicide hero. In general, I don't like Kraken suicide, but going for a tanky hero in the suicide role against a Revenant seems like it might be valuable.
They can't have him in the mid though versus Prisoner and Glacius. He would melt in 2 seconds.
Yeah,
but,
and then it just goes back to Madman wasn't a great pick.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
He does go relatively well with the Empath though. I mean, since I didn't really feel like Empath and Doctor mixes, but they just have too much. Like they have 0 lockdown whatsoever in this team. The only one that they can rely on is Doctor Repulsor, and that's not really the kind of hero that you want to have your initiations done.
Right.
I mean, sure, they do have Kraken later on, but that's very unreliable, especially when he's probably going to need to sit back and cancel Tempest Ultimate in this game. Madman going to pull, by the way, at the top.
Yeah, and they do have potentially Parasite to lock down the Tempest Hole, but, you know, either way, it's a bit of an issue, so Madman is going to be pulling here, and...
Really surprised that Glacius didn't walk over there. He could have frozen him, taken, well, almost his entire health pool, and then followed him as well, because I don't really feel like he needs to sit mid right now. I feel like it would have been a lot better if he just took away all the farm from Madman.
And Revenant making a very nice play actually here. Gonna just drag the creeps into the Hellborn Woods, and he does miss a CS right there, but he's like, fine. And now I get a free neutral camp, and drags the creeps right back, and he has maintained lane control, so...
Yeah, not sure why you do this if you're 1 versus 1. If he's versus 2 heroes, then yeah, I agree on Madman doing that. But since he's versus just a Revenant, there's really not too much of a point.
Revenant already putting significant amount of damage onto this Madman, and I would not expect that to abate anytime soon. Madman has taken 2 of his 6 trees already, and he's also not going to maintain lane control here as he's got a pretty substantial wave pushing up. Anyway, bottom lane is going to be the Dr. Repulsor going up against the Swiftblade. As instead of keeping Empath down here with the Repulsor, they've elected to send her middle with the Kraken, which is a laning decision I heavily disagree with. Not only is Empath a great laning support against the Swiftblade, but Kraken in a dual lane is not substantially more powerful than Kraken in the solo lane, and Repulsor probably needs to babysit early on.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that just ruins for Kraken almost, because he's going to get less levels.
Right.
And like this kind of defeats the purpose of actually picking up the Empath, because I assume that the only reason for why they did it was to get rid of that Swiftblade from the suicide lane.
Right. And instead, they're not going to punish it, so they're going to pick up a regen rune here, as he already used his spin once. And Dr. Repulsor currently sitting on 3 more tangos and a health bot, so he actually has a fairly solid amount of regen, so play it just down to 1 tree and a health potion, so... I don't know, maybe Repulsor will be okay here, because Swiftblade doesn't seem to have been pooled enough regen, but there you go, spin, and Repulsor going to be... like, that's over half of his health with just the spin. Anyway, middle lane, Empath going to be in some trouble, and she puts the Essence Link down, but she still is going to die. We'll see if they can get a counter kill onto the Glacius. Nope, health potion tick goes through. Glacius going to walk this one off. Kraken is a little bit faster, but the freeze just in time. Kraken looking for the Torrent.
What is it doing?
Cannot get it, though. And this could be a bit of an issue. Hook actually going to be dodged. Glacius continuing to juke this Kraken, and ends up surviving. Catlow in the bottom lane, actually, so did fall as they managed to bring Parasite in and take out the Suicide Swiftblade, so...
that was a kill on Kraken.
Yep, and now there's a Shackle. They're looking to bottle up and get the hook back, and it is going to connect, and that's not a nice kill. So Kraken going to eat the Essence Link, but he's going to be just fine. And boy, it's a good thing they put Empath in this middle lane, because clearly she's doing a heck of a lot. Swiftblade nearly killing Doctor in the bottom lane. Just... I don't know, that didn't make a lot of sense.
This is so confusing. Really, really confusing. Why would you want to have Empath in the mid?
I couldn't tell. And Empath, as far as I'm concerned, actually not that good a mid hero. Because her ability to wall people off was much more difficult in the generally open space of mid lane. On the side lanes where there's trees everywhere, you can find solid angles, but I feel like her presence is much less effective in the middle lane because you just can't find the angles to actually, like, lock people down.
Yep, usually that is the case. We've seen Sync run it a few times to combine with the pebbles, but that's pretty much because it goes well with your hard carry in that case.
Right. And because it's Sync and they can oftentimes
Yeah,
do whatever they
exactly.
want.
But also, if you run dual mid with a Kraken, for example, sure you can like be around the area as the empath, just to like if he gets initiated on, you can run in and like wall the enemies off, for example. But you shouldn't ever like sit on the lane completely. You should be hiding in the shadows all the time, so the Swiftblade, for example, can't feel safe on his lane, and that the mid always need to care, the top needs to care. I mean, it's about mind games.
Yeah.
And just by not showing on the lane as a support in the early minutes of the game it's so good.
I mean, and hell, we're going to see that later on in this game when Revenant starts to get going, is when you have a Revenant on the opposing team, you constantly have that issue of, well, where's Revenant? Okay, well, even if I see Revenant, where the hell's the rest of his team? Because there's a really good chance they're always going to be sneaking up on me completely invisible, and then I'm dead. So, I mean, that sort of effect that Revenant creates, and other heroes like him, sometimes Valkyrie even with her ultimate, just good positioning, good warding, that sort of thing, can create a significant thing because it can prevent people from farming even without stopping people from farming. In the middle lane, they're trying to go on this Kraken, and Parasite looking to counter, has the leech there, but I don't think he's going to have enough auto attack damage to take this prisoner down. And yeah, prisoner's going to walk it off, puts the freeze. Bottom lane, once again, Catlome's dying. I'm just going to say it. I think maybe Catlomain should stop playing Suicide.
Yeah, not going too well. I mean, he usually ends up getting some early experience, but if you, after that, die, you like... I mean, Dr. Repulsor is level 7 now.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm pretty sure he's the highest level or experience gain per in the game. Yeah, he is. He's over 500 GP, or 500 experience per minute. And that's the issue, like... I mean, you can even bait. I mean, that's kind of how Sync runs it normally. They just have Flensmeister, 1 versus 1 against the Suicide, and then they have slapped on some kind of a forest hero. So as soon as the Suicide hero gets some level, like 5 or something like that, they just feed on him. They like kill him 1 or 2 times, and they just get a huge experience boost over everyone else in the game.
Right.
So yeah, getting experience as a Suicide is fine, but if you don't go and die, I mean, you're just making it much worse than if you were actually level 3 and dying.
And they do land a hook on Kraken and the Shackle, but only after the charge already gone through. They'll stick a top tower on the Hellborn side. So they're getting some stuff back. And the Doctor in particular, a hero that you don't really want to let get going in terms of levels. As 4 spells, they're all very valuable, so for him getting up there and being able to be mobile, burst people down with his opposite charges, Contraption, and Electric Frenzy. Very possible, and he can get dangerous, but Coollo actually does have a golden experience lead. Gold helping because of the tower, but they've done very well in this middle lane.
Yep, Archer Tiger is standing in the woods waiting for something to happen, but Madman ported mid, so they should just keep pushing.
Yeah, and Razor Kraken and the wall can go through the Glaciers. They're actually not doing all that much damage. They will eventually get the kill, but it took a while considering how weak that hero is. And in the meantime, they also pick off Adro. Or Pink, excuse me, on the... What the hell am I talking about? On the Kraken, so... Good trade.
Yeah, Kraken is really not playing well this game. He's been dying 2 or 3 times, or 2 times now. Totally unnecessary. Just playing too greedy, and he completely whiffed his ultimate as well on Glaciers without Marchers, so he needs to step up the game if they want to win this.
Yeah, and because they're gonna need, like we talked about in the beginning, they're gonna need his initiate. They really can't do too much to start these fights safely without the Kraken jumping people, because they don't want to send Doctor in first. And if he gets a very late portal key, they don't really have a way to start.
Then it's gonna be trouble. It is the Dr. Repulsor, but like it's unreliable.
Right.
And I also feel like Archer Tiger is playing this completely wrong now. He was farming so well. Like he had 350 GPM, which is amazing in the early levels or in the early minutes of the game. But after this, he's just AFK. He's just standing here. He's been doing the same thing at top, trying to wait out the Madman, and now he's doing it in the mid. I mean, that hero is not a ganker. Sure, you can do your timing pushes with your ultimate and try to get a ganks out of it, but you can't waste time because your farm is so fast.
Is going to get caught out by the Essence Shroud. We'll see if they actually have the damage to finish him off. They do still have vision of them, so they should be able to, but he's getting the jukes of the century here, and he actually might survive this.
Be enough, though.
Yeah, it will.
What?
Shroud? Nope, he's going to die. The question is, will they get anything else out of this? Catlomain is coming in on the Swiftblade, stock away from Madman. He actually might be able to live, so looks like Marcus Moy eventually does take the death. Empath trying to stick around near the creep wave, but double damage rune is popped on Swiftblade. They're trying to avoid the Swift Slashes, and Catlomain is still going to get the kill on the Playmaker on the Madman. So it's not a great trade in the end, but at least they get something out of that death from Revenant. Man, it's just a pretty solid jukes from Marcus Moy.
Yeah, that was well played.
And they will hit the Kraken with the charge. Ultimate from Prisoner, not doing anything, because again, the Kraken charge coming out before the Shackle.
Yeah, they really need to sit either on their shackle. Like, I'm not sure how Kraken actually gets away before Prisoner gets the shackle off. Either that or the freeze from Glacius. Like, one of them, like, come on, guys. If you can actually hit the hook, that's the hard part.
Right.
Then you miss out on the easy part.
What it seems to happen is Kraken gets the charge off, and then Prisoner gets the shackle mid-charge, so it doesn't actually cancel the charge. And Kraken's like, well, I was a little bit slower now, but I got away. So.
But I'm pretty sure that if he puts the shackle on like mid-air or when he's flying towards you, you can charge away. It's
no, you can't. Anyway, but speaking of that middle lane, once again they're going to get him. There goes the shackle and the freeze, and looks like Kraken finally will fall as Catwoman comes into the last hit. So.
Oh my God, he is just taking hook after hook.
Pink is having a bad time. He played a very good Flux last game, so I'm not really super concerned about his overall skill. I don't really feel like this is a situation where he's completely outmatched. He's just not playing very well. Anyway, Essence Dragon going to go through onto a couple. Both Tempest and Prisoner are going to find it. And here's Empath and Mr. Parasite. We'll see if they can get both of them. Yeah, Tempest the hole comes out. That's going to lock down Parasite. Glacial Downpour even being used. Probably not necessary, but whatever. And Catlomain gets another double tap. He's up to 310 GPM. So this was a hero that was 0-3-0 after the laning phase. Now 5-3-0.
I think it just comes back to their lineup. It's so superior to the Legions. There's literally nothing the Legion can do, especially now when Kraken is down on 200 GPM.
Yep. I mean,
I feel like they should pressure a lot more though, Hellborn, with Tempest Elementals, like try to get the towers. Because Legion inside have absolutely no counter push in their heroes.
And you start pushing the bottom tower, get Dr. Repulsor to feel a little bit less safe in his woods. That Ward of Sight will spot out Tempest though, and the opposite charge is going to come through. Wall's there as well, and Tempest definitely going to fall here. Stupid Stew on me. Empath ends up getting the kill. Meanwhile, middle lane, Kraken is going to be in some trouble. There goes Prisoner with the portal key. Shackle going to stop the charge. At least Kraken actually hits both heroes, but I think the damage is still there, and they will be able to finish off him before he can get the counter kill on Revenant. So nice Essence Shroud gank once again, and creating that space on Revenant. That's what he does so very well.
Yep.
Just going to force a gank lineup on the Legion side to group up while continue getting picked up by this Revenant. So I'm appreciating this Revenant pick more and more as the game goes on. It's because like Legion side do not want to group up. That's not what they're built to do. And they're going to get the spin or the face hug on Swiftblade, but he actually gets the spin off first, so he's fine. Speaking of grouping up, they are going to do that. Trying to push this bot tier 1 tower, but Essence Shroud is there. Actually, is that an Invis rune? Yeah, it's an Invis rune on Revenant. I have you.
Hellborn team pushes so much faster than the Legion team. There's no reason for them to actually sit back and defend. Tempest once again trying to go for the ganks when he should just be farming. He could have been level 12 or something, I'm not kidding. He could have been level 12 with 400 GPM plus.
Archie Tiger playing very passively.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, he's probably used to playing the Ophelia, and therefore he's trying to run around and do like this kind of stuff. But Tempest is a late game hero. Late game. He can do well in the mid and early, or in early and mid game as well, obviously. But you shouldn't, especially when there's no carry that you have in your team that is taking over the forest, for example. There's no reason whatsoever to not utilize all that farm. But alright, they're down here, and they're gonna try to push with 3 heroes, which is super risky because they have no vision whatsoever, and they could have just as well got completely wrecked down here. So I don't agree with this decision.
I'm not gonna pay for it. Middle lane, actually a nice portal key away from Prisoner, as Dr. Pulse uses all his mana to come in anyway. Actually, they draw a couple of ports to this tower to defend it, and that will cause them to abandon the bottom push. I'm just going to spawn the elementals. I'm going to get hit by the tower, so it runs away. And Tempest will look for a bottom push here, but like you said, this is very risky. They're not going to get punished for it, but they don't have enough vision anyway. They're also going to lose in the middle lane. Kraken.
Phone call.
Yes, that was great. Sorry about that. Phone is sitting in front of me. Very, very loud stuff.
Yeah, it's alright. Okay, so what happened? Kraken picked off once again 05. Yay! Going really well. But come on, guys, you're 4 people down here, and you got vision on all of them. Like, just tank the tower, guys.
And top lane, they're going to be able to run away. We'll see if they can actually get out of this. Off to the side, Madman's there, but a nice pullback onto Dr. Repulsor. Ultimate from Prisoners there. Will it work? No, it's just broken. Nice stun from Empath. And I think Doctor's still dead here, but he might not be.
He's going to be fine,
he's going to live. That's kind of... Nope, yep. Personal portal key once again. Doesn't have enough mana to do anything. He has the hook, and it's going to connect. Get him! Parasite coming in, trying to slow him down. Dr. Repulsor is just running.
Wow.
Run, buddy. Facehug goes through
No,
onto
Parasite,
Revenant as well. Now Parasite has the Glacial Blast on him. If he had waited for the Facehug, he could have transferred that stun, but instead he's going to die. So they do get Dr. Repulsor out of there, but cost them Parasite. And they actually did kill the top tower in the meantime. So
This prisoner is playing really well, by the way, with his hooks. Even though I feel like that Dr. Repulsor should have dodged that. It was kind of obvious that the hook was going to come when he was running in that little narrow
yeah, I'm not
area,
sure if he could have. That's my only concern.
But I mean, he flew like some distance. I mean, he could have flew uphill or something.
Oh, you mean next to the tower? Or in the mid?
No, but Dr. Repulsor, when he was like trying to escape, as it doesn't matter. But I think the Dr. Repulsor could have flown up the hill.
Oh yeah,
when
that's
he was
possible.
chased at the narrow passage. But,
anyway, they did pick off Kraken in the middle lane. Once again.
Surprise!
Yeah, and
they should just keep
Kraken's
going mid
06
because
and 1.
Kraken is gonna keep going.
So that's bad.
That's really bad.
He's just gonna be able to drop an aggressive ward here, and might look to pursue this onto the Parasite or the Empath. Yep, there's the jump onto Parasite. He's gonna get inside of a creep though, so not really sure that was the best decision. And they're gonna try to chase on the Swiftblade here. Facehug is not quite there. Finally, it goes through, and Swiftblade actually should fall. It's a pretty substantial response from the leading side, and a pretty good streak ended too. 459 gold for Swiftlane on that Dr. Repulsor. Essence Shroud going through from Revenant once again. Glacius is just kind of here, and they're going to be able to turn this on to Empath. That Prisoner Ultimate is going to be there onto 2. They will only catch it onto that Dr. Repulsor in the background. Kraken Ultimate going to be able to hit on Glacius. He's dead. It's the first one to fall, and Dr. Repulsor trying to run away. I don't know if he's going to be able to get out, but actually over here they will be able to get Tempest Ultimate onto 2, and I think both Kraken and Madman are going to fall. Revenant doing a ton of damage with the Mortification. There goes the Madman. And Kraken trying to get out of here with Parasite, trying to slow people down, trying to kill this Revenant. I don't know if that's going to happen. They did manage to pick off Dr. Repulsor off to the side, but we'll see. Parasite, he's trying to find a juke spot. Not going to work.
Dig 2 graves.
And Archie Tiger.
Yeah, I'm sorry. All of that happened once again because Kraken misplayed. He threw down the ultimate on Glacius, he threw the torrent on Glacius. Glacius was 100% dead, and he even used his charge for no reason on Glacius. If he would have waited and just killed Revenant with it instead, nothing of that would have happened. So,
did he get the kill on Glacius? Yes, he did.
yes.
So,
but using all your spells for the support with no spells, I don't know.
When you put it like that,
yeah, that's a bit strange.
it's a bit less admirable or whatever. Empath taking a lot of damage from these elementals. It's a wall down trying to survive. Glacius is going to want to pass the ward, so no sneakiness from Adro. She also puts a ward of sight down, and they definitely saw that, so I wouldn't be surprised. Yep, Stupid Sue going to counter it immediately. And in fact, I'm not sure if the other ward of Rev would have spotted that already, but I guess it didn't, because he did put it on ward of Rev down.
It was probably quite close,
Yeah,
but maybe not
looked
enough.
very close. Anyway, Nullstone is finished on Dr. Repulsor, so we're 19 minutes in, and that's Doctor's first and only real item. It's a good item, but it's
yeah, but they're
not
gonna
great.
need a lot of time. I'm surprised that Parasite doesn't have his puzzle box yet. It's 19 minutes in. He should have it.
Well, he has 250 GPM, so I'm not all that surprised.
Nope.
I'm gonna pressure mid tier 2 once again. Top lane, Pink on that Kraken, kind of hanging around behind the tower, but figuring they can't go for him. Cat Lemaine on the Swiftblade, gonna help connect creeps, and don't let the Tempest Elemental split, people. Oh, unbelievable.
Yeah, you get so annoyed when you play Tempest and no one actually lets them split.
Anyway, top lane, they will get the ultimate onto Kraken. He counters with an ultimate of his own, but he's not going to be surviving this by any means. They're nearly dying, but that's still another kill onto Pink, who's got sub 200 GPM still, not even close to a portal key.
What's he even doing at that point?
Don't know. He knows they're mid. He knows Prisoner has a portal key. He's pushed up actually beyond the tier 2 tower, pretty much in range of the tier 2 tower, but still past it towards the Hellborn side with absolutely no deep support.
Yeah, it feels very stupid. And also, I mean, Legion team, they're doing this wrong. I mean, if they are going to decide not to take the fight, not to defend their secondary towers, which I don't think they should, then they shouldn't have been in the base to start with. They should have just counter push from the beginning or found their forest. They're wasting so much time.
And they will get the face hug onto Swiftblade, but he eats it with the spin. Freeze goes through onto Glacier, or onto Parasite. He's going to die here because his Infest is down. They're going to get a counter kill onto Swiftblade. Glacial Downpour doing some damage to Madman in the background. He's got to stalk off, but it's not going to be enough. It's 2 down for the Hellborn team, in favor of the Hellborn team, I mean, and they've lost just the Swiftblade. They also forced a bunch of ports. They did lose the bottom tower in the meantime. Still a solid engagement for them. Tempest hold
That's the second time, by the way. Just oh wait, the glaciers.
Yeah, into the hook as they get the freeze down, and Kraken's real dead.
Nice.
8 deaths.
Yeah. What can we say?
I mean, you can't lose mid this hard. You can't.
And it's just like after the war, or I mean the laning phase as well. I mean, he's just being in places which he shouldn't. He's been like just playing so carelessly. I don't know what's up with
Empath as well. Puts the wall down, trying to save herself, but is gonna die. Trying to counter ward up here. So they do see the word of sight, but it's gonna expire by the time they actually do anything about it anyway. Is it? 7, 6, 5, 4. Yeah, it's gonna expire before they kill it. 2, 1. Oh, that sucks. Don't even get the gold. Anyway, that was one of the things that Swindle was constantly talking about, is how teams that win mid win the game. And in this situation, it's not like you're talking about. It's not just the laning phase, but he has been continuously getting picked off. So I mean, more in the sense of their mid hero is continuing to feed, and that was supposed to be their initiator. That was supposed to be the person who's starting these fights, and you can't do too much if he's going to continuously die, because not only does he now have a portal key, but he's not in these fights because he's dead.
Yeah, pretty much every time. He's been involved in free kills, same as Madman. So
and you look at the Prisoner on the other side, 5-0 and 10. Some simple math,
a bit of a difference.
15.
And once again, I mean, the Legion team is all here. Parasite was here, Empath was here. But if they're not gonna defend it, please spend the time farming. I mean, Dr. Pulsar is the only one in their team that's doing this.
Right.
And now they're running away from their base for some reason. Now
they should be defending.
Dead. Yeah, exactly. Like I haven't. What?
It's a little bit confusing, and to be fair, this might come down to the different players. I mean, we did see 2 people that changed on the roster between Game 1 and Game 2. And in many ways, this looks like a different team than the one that we saw in Game 1, which was making mistakes, but generally seemed coordinated and together enough that those mistakes weren't killing them. Now, Coollo was also making a lot of mistakes that they seem to have cleaned up a little bit in this game. At the same time, he's doing the same thing. Empath gonna get hooked out, and Shackle real dead.
This Prisoner guy is really good. I don't know who it is. The Omega. If that's main account or if it's a sub or something, but I'm impressed by his hook skills.
Tag up as Rexar, so that's not bad. Shackle actually did not go through. It was on cooldown anyway. At least the Kraken is going to be there on a Swiftblade, and they will be get the kill. Taliana's doing some stuff. See if they can get anything else. fast. Yep, Crypto goes down on the Kraken once again, as well as knocks the Parasite. And I would be surprised if Dr. Pulsar falls here. They're trying to finish up the Tempest. Madman will be able to do that, but they managed to go Swift Lane to Dr. Pulsar in the meantime. And now Madman in a lot of trouble. Hook is going to hit him. Stock is still active, though, and he's actually going to be able to get away and bottle charge for a while. Buybacks coming through on Kraken. He's going to be dead right again, though. Swift Lane trying to survive here and pop the wall. Maybe able to lock him back for a little while, but there goes Parasite again. Is Revenant going to survive this? He's not, but Swift Lane is also going to fall. Empath pops out. And man coming back in, as did he die and buy back? No, he just finally got back to base. Must have been a teleport, but there he goes. Now he's dead. Empath trying to do some stuff with the Essence Link, but Prisoner way too tanky. Going to push himself over the wall. Glacius end up being the sacrificial lamb to allow Prisoner to get back out of there, but that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buybacks on the Legion team.
Wow,
and Pink is just gone.
Kraken disconnected.
Well, he's back.
I don't know. I don't know about that guy. There must be something going on that we do not know about. Otherwise, there's just no excuses for this game.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to make it sound like he's the only reason they're losing, because I don't think Doctor's played all that well. I think Parasite's had some issues. Madman's had a solid game, but it's not like it's totally on the Kraken. It's just that a lot of it's on the Kraken.
Yeah.
And the way their draft is set up, a lot of the load on the Legion team is supposed to be shouldered by this Kraken, because he's their frontline hero, he's their initiator, he's their only real tank, so he's supposed to be up in the front lines, eating a lot of damage and putting out a lot of crowd control, because they don't have a lot of that either. But when he's not doing that, the flaws.
Yeah, I think it's important if you're like, for example, the team captain or whoever is drafting or whoever makes the call, that they actually go through before the game starts what like the objectives are before this game. Like for example, like in this game, I would say like objective the first goal is to get a Kraken core, for example. That's what we're all gonna work towards, and then it's the puzzle box and Parasite, for example. So the team actually knows what's going on and what we're waiting for before we want to like start playing together as a or take team fights, for example. And in this game, it just seems like they have no clue what they are actually trying to accomplish.
And looks like after that pick off onto the Empath, they will be taking these bot racks. Empath with no buyback, not that it matters all that much. She's a reasonably valuable hero in these team fights, but she's not exactly
The Legion barracks are
hugely
liquidated.
dependent. Hook on Prisoner gonna miss.
Oh no, that was the first hook he missed this game, I think.
No, it's not.
100% hook. It wasn't?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah, he was
Are you
not.
sure?
He was not close to 100% hook rate.
I have not seen him miss out.
I've seen him miss several hooks. Anyway, we're gonna put a shackle down onto Dr. Repulsor. Prisoner ultimate gonna connect on just him. Release the Kraken onto the Prisoner, trying to counter, but they do manage to build Pink on the Kraken. There goes the Tempest Soul, finally canceled by Parasite. 3 dead on the side of Legion. Anyway, Mauler is killed, but it doesn't matter. And CC vote being called by the Legion team. I think that's definitely worth it. Prisoner missing
valiant
another
effort,
but
warriors.
looks like Coollo gonna take game 2, and that means we'll be going to a game 3. Hot Fluff Factory, a little bit iffy in that game, but I don't know. Final thoughts?
I think you described it pretty well. Iffy. No, but both these games have been very one-sided, I feel. Being outdrafts.
And I seem to have muted us, so sorry about that. I was fixing overlays. It just happened. Oh, whatever. So you might have missed some of the stuff that Snowy said because I'm an idiot. But it was all very intelligent. Let me assure you of that, and not really sure if it's worth repeating because we've been talking about it a lot in the last like 15 minutes. So anyway, sorry about that, guys. I hit the wrong key on the keyboard. Anyway. That'll do it for game 2, and we're moving on to game 3 in just a few moments.